Juniors and seniors. It's a really stressful time for them when they're trying to pick a major, decide what school to go to, or what career path to pursue. And we believe that students are not being prepared in high school to make these big decisions, and it's a large problem today. So today we'll be discussing the importance of preparing our youth for meaningful work.
Okay, just a quick roadmap of what we're going to be talking about, because we're talking about a variety of different things. So first we're going to tell you a little bit about our problem and why we think it's important. Then we're going to go and look at specific problems for high schoolers, followed by problems in college, and then look at why these problems in high school and college are so important, especially in today's world. Then we're going to talk about our own personal experiences, and then get a little bit of a class discussion on your experiences in high school. And then solutions for high school students and the solutions for college students that can be implemented, and how being an educated person can help in implementing these solutions. And then lastly, a conclusion.
So it is nearly impossible to be successful in today's world without a college degree. So from personal experience, we have noticed a growing problem in our society, which is the lack of preparation among high school students in determining their career paths upon entering college. So this is a growing problem because it leads to financial strain and the inability to enter the workforce in a timely manner. So even if students go into college with a major in mind, they may graduate without any set career goals at the end of their 4 years. We have come up with a series of solutions that aid in solving this problem in order to benefit students and the future of America. There are many problems in today's world, and the difficulty of choosing a major can lead to some of these many other issues. With proper planning implemented by an educated person, the problem can be mended.
So first, some problems that we face when we're in high school. So when you go to college, you have to know a lot of basic life skills, like being able to do your own laundry, being able to cook, doing your personal finances. And a lot of times there's not an importance put on that in high school. I mean, you have your home ec class, but a lot of times those aren't even mandatory. So it's really hard for you to pick a future career if you don't even know how to do some of these basic life skills when you're living on your own. Another problem that we found is that there's not a lot of mandatory job shadowing or career tests when you're in high school. So if you don't start looking at those things early on, once you get to your senior year of high school, you all of a sudden have to choose what you want to do with the rest of your life, and that can put a lot of pressure on you when you're about to go into college. And some interesting statistics that we found was, according to Youth Truth, only 49% of students felt as though high school helped them understand the steps that they need to take in order to have the career that they want. So that's less than 50%, so that's not very good. And then also, only 37% of juniors and 48% of seniors utilize counseling to help figure out their future career possibilities. So there's not a lot of people seeking advice from older people trying to figure out what they want to do with their future.
So students who are undecided when they enter college also face some difficulties, but it starts even before that. As 80% of college-bound students have yet to choose a major, they're still expected to choose a school. And students oftentimes choose a school based on the programs or majors that they offer, so it's hard for them to choose a school that fits them if they don't even know what major they want. And in a worst case scenario, a student might enter college and finally decide what major to pick, but their school might not offer that program. And in this case, it's unsettling that 50% of college students are undecided about their majors, and 50 to 70% of students change their major up to 3 times, according to the University of Laverne. And another problem is that it can be difficult to change majors, as some majors have a really strict or built-in coursework to follow from freshman year. So if you change to nursing, for example, they have classes you have to take throughout all 4 years, and the schedule is inflexible, so you'd already be behind. And along with not having much room in your schedule to make up classes, it's hard to sometimes fit in prerequisites for graduate school, especially if they don't coincide with the current classes you're taking. And if you're trying to catch up on other classes, it's almost nearly impossible to try to fit in your prerequisite classes. So in order to expand on how widespread this problem is, we looked into some statistics from the Ohio State University, and they found that in 2009, more than 130 students who began in the engineering program earned different degrees, and over 150 students who entered into the College of Business earned different degrees. And then there are some further reasons as to why students change their major, according to a survey by Ball State University. And they said that 88% of students changed their major because the career possibilities of a different major seemed more interesting. And then 75% of students changed their major because courses in another major seemed more interesting. And then lastly, 66% said there are more job openings in another major. So those were just kind of some of the reasons why people change their major. But these statistics go to show how important it is to have as much knowledge and background information on different career paths, so that way it's easier to make these decisions.
So why are these problems so important? We narrowed it down to a couple different reasons, which I'm sure you can all relate with. It creates a large financial burden, especially if you're adding extra semesters or an extra year, because a lot of times your scholarships only go for 4 years at major universities. So say that you want to add an extra year at Mount Union, the tuition's $29,560, and that doesn't include like cost of living or food. And if you're not getting scholarships, obviously that's a lot of money that could add up in student loans. And then another reason that we saw that was relevant was that you have an extended time in school. And an interesting statistic is that 40% of students haven't earned a degree by year 6. So the longer you're in school, the longer you won't be entering the workforce and you won't be making money. And then a lot of times in order to get the career that you want to, you have to have a college degree. So you can't enter the workforce though.
So now we're going to share some of our personal experiences in high school and how we felt our high school prepared us or didn't prepare us. And then after we share our stories, we will go around and ask all of you to share how you felt your high school prepared you. So me personally, I took an honors English class and we were required to write a research paper looking into a career of interest. And I thought I wanted to be a nurse at the time, so I looked into nursing. So I researched like the typical tasks of a nurse and like their daily, what they do throughout the day. And I found that with further research that nursing was not the career for me. And I would not have realized without doing this paper, I wouldn't have realized that I didn't like nursing. And throughout high school, I looked at a lot of different career options, and it's one thing to just look at them at the surface, like something might sound good, but until you do the further research, I don't think you really realize if something's a good fit for you or not. And then another beneficial assignment I had was in my anatomy class. We were required to do shadowing, and most of us in the class wanted to do something in the medical field, so I shadowed a chiropractor and a few physical therapists. And with this, I realized that I didn't want to be a chiropractor, but physical therapy interested me. But then going into college, I still wasn't 100% sure like what career path I wanted to follow, so I majored in biology since it was a science and I knew you could do a lot with that. But then just through more personal reflection, I did decide on physical therapy, and without having that shadowing in high school, I wouldn't really have realized that that's something that I want to do. So it was really nice to have those experiences in high school to lead me to where I am now. However, in high school, not all of the students had to take that English class or that anatomy class, so they didn't get those experiences necessarily to discover different career options.
My high school experience was a lot like Morgan's, in that there were a lot of beneficial like things and projects and stuff that we did do. So I took a class and it was called Career Blueprint, and we had a lot of personality and career inventories that we had to take pretty much every day. For the first couple weeks, we worked on those. And then the results from the personality inventory, that was matched with a career assessment, and then the personality inventory helped choose which career assessment to take. That way it would kind of give you like careers that would be based off of your personality. So in using the outcomes, we were to take 5 of the careers and then research them extensively, and they needed to be careers that were interesting to us as well. So a lot of the research, it revolved around looking up different facts and information about the careers, but it also had a component of looking up colleges and universities that had the major that you had to take to fulfill that career. So those were 2 of the big things that I would do. And then the last was job shadowing. So I was matched with and chose to research nursing. At the time I did too think that I wanted to be a nurse. my aunt was a nurse, and she worked in a dialysis center, so I was able to go shadow her. And because of the shadowing, it made me realize that nursing was not for me, and that was not what I was called to do. So it wasn't until after the class that I started looking into my other top interest, which was psychology. And then I came to Mount as an aspiring psychology major, and then I'm going to be graduating as a psychology major in a couple weeks. So I would definitely not be in this situation that I am now without the help from that college class.
So my high school experience was actually kind of the opposite of what they were talking about. I didn't really have a class or any shadowing or anything like that. We did have a class my sophomore year of high school called Careers, but it wasn't mandatory, and we learned things like filling out a checkbook or like getting a credit card, and I really couldn't tell you half of the stuff I learned in that class, so it wasn't really helpful at all. And I also started out as a history major when I came here, only because I thought that I liked my history classes in high school and there wasn't like a career test or anything, so I was like, maybe I'll just try this. And I ended up changing it after my first semester to International Affairs and Diplomacy, which I got lucky because some of the classes coincided with the first semester. But if I wanted to do something completely different, like in a science field, it wouldn't have worked out for me. So I actually ended up getting lucky, and I wish that my high school would have had something like Morgan's or Emily's, where it would have more helped me to discover, because maybe I would have liked something in the science field. I don't really know, because I didn't have the opportunity to research it through classes. So if you guys just want to like discuss amongst yourselves for a couple of minutes in your groups, and then we'll have a class discussion about how you felt your high school experience impacted college. So go for it.
I mean, the other time we did was like career tests. Like,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
yeah, it was also like
Yeah.
I know, it's stuff that I didn't hear was
I know it was the whole class thing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing. No one was
yeah. She was like on her way out, so like she didn't really have a whole lot of motivation to like help people. So that kind of sucked, just like with timing. High school. I wouldn't say that it was super helpful. I'm just no longer doing what I came here to do.
I bet you might.
You guys will think
Yeah.
you'll think this is ridiculous.
What?
So Marlon took that career assessment test. It was in the 8th grade for some reason. I mean, it makes no sense to me. But you know what I got picked to do? And it's funny in hindsight, considering how well my scholarship went. Mortician.
Are you serious? Why did you come up with that?
Because that was so, it was essentially like working alone in the site. They were like, you would be completely apt for working with dead people.
I didn't even know what to credit that. Coroner.
Yeah, essentially coroner, mortician, female scientist.
You don't even know. You had to like
I don't ever
jump through a bunch of hoops to do that.
What if you are from high school REP manifesto, what were you in school like satire?
Anything.
That's awesome. That was essentially my entire presentation was like satire on it.
Yeah, no, they did.
No, but I didn't even think about it until afterwards.